Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fighter Heart podcast. I'm Joe Rizzo, and today I'm sitting here with Stephen Crawford. How's it going, Steve?
Pretty good, man. Good to happy to be here.
Yeah, man, thanks for taking the time. So, as you know, every week we talk to someone who has overcome extreme adversity and lived to tell the tale. And today we'd love to hear about your story. If you can give us a little bit about your background and then go into your story, and then, we'll take it from there.
Right on. Well, I am 34 years old, originally from right outside Nashville, Tennessee. Grew up moving around a lot. Went to the Navy after high school, and then continued moving around. Had some jobs up in North Dakota, but moved down to Colorado a few years ago. Was battling addiction actually up until the day of my accident, so that's why, like, the accident's the best thing that ever happened to me. But on October 19th of 2019, I was riding my motorcycle. A guy in a pickup truck wasn't paying attention and hit me nearly head on. I was going about 45. He's going about 25. So it crushed my leg and broke my hand. But for how gnarly of an accident it was I got very, very lucky. They saved my leg for like 7, 8 months, and then it got infected in the bone. And they told me if I wanted to save my leg, it would be, what they say, like 3, 4 years of surgery, 50-50 chance it would work. And then if I saved my leg, I wouldn't be able to skateboard or snowboard anymore. So I made the decision to have my leg amputated. So that was April 30th of 2020 when they performed the amputation.
Wow.
And since then, I've been rocking and rolling. I did everything I could to get back on a snowboard and found a lot of other sports and hobbies in the process.
So you decided to go forward with it during COVID, like the beginning, I guess, the heart of it.
Yep. Yeah. I went in for when I had that infection inside my bone, and they had to like cut out 7.5 inches of tibia. But that was like right after lockdown, like full swing COVID. And then, yeah, like a month and a half into COVID is when they did the amputation. But I'm kind of glad it was during COVID because none of my friends had to work. So I was able to have a lot of support and friends around me through the healing process and stuff. So it actually was, I felt so bad for everyone else, but it was like pretty good for my psyche, it happening during COVID.
Yeah, wow. It's unexpected. So so to go back, um, like how much thought did you have to put into this decision? Like did you just like right away know like yeah, it's time to get it amputated?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know a lot of people deal with a lot more like salvage surgeries and procedures and go on and on with it. But to know that like would have to grow back 7.5 inches of my tibia, which, to bear weight and do all the things that I like doing, it just didn't make sense for me. And I wanted to get back on a snowboard. It was my number one priority. So it was when they told me, I mean, it was like very, like, I had a discussion with one of my general surgeons, that like ran my wound care clinic, and what he said made the most sense to me. And he talked to me for about 5 minutes, and then I called my family and I was like, I'm cutting my leg off.
What was their reaction to that?
They were, I mean, kind of like, I told them I had that like 5 minute conversation about like pretty much exactly what the doctor said to me, and told them my reasoning, and they supported me. It was weird. It was like a lot of people that and they were also there with me like every step of the way, like all the visits and doctor visits, appointments, which there was like 15 a week or something at the time, with all the IV antibiotics and everything else. So, but they were very supportive. It was just kind of when I told my other friends, they're like, "What? Like, you're not gonna try and save it?" I'm like, "Dude, like, why would I, man? I'm like, I want to
Wasting
snowboard."
time. Yeah.
Yeah, prosthetics have come so far too, which was like pretty reassuring. Like, I did a little research online and had already been seeing what people can do on prosthetics, and was pretty taken back by that and inspired. And I was like, I'm gonna be one of those guys, man. I'm gonna be crushing it on some prosthesis devices.
I haven't heard that one before. Nice. Um, so to go back, I wanted to hear about the accident a little more. You said you were going like 25. Did you have any time to anticipate anything or like brace yourself, or was it just they were
No,
going so fast?
they were going well. I was going 45 and he
Oh,
was
I think
going
you said.
25.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I was going like it was a 2-lane road, kind of a slow, it was like on the middle of the day on a Thursday. I was on fall break from my like first semester of welding school. And I just fixed I had this like 77 Harley Ironhead chopper that I built. And I was stoked. It was like literally the first day it was running like a dream, how I finally wanted it to run. But I was like going to meet my dad for lunch at this Mexican restaurant. Now it was maybe a mile and a half away, give or take like a quarter mile, but very close to where I was meeting my dad. And I guess this dude had his kid in the car, was distracting him or something. I don't know. You know, it's not important. But yeah, I was going this way and there was a road to my right. So he, that bike was loud. No one was behind me. It was slow. I figured like this dude definitely sees me. He was like, looked like he was slowing down in relative, you know, but he wasn't. He was just kind of slowing down to take the turn. So I kind of angled it. So it kind of hit me in between like a T-bone and a head on. So like kind of like a 45-degree angle from the front, left side. And I had just enough time to like kind of turn this way so I didn't like hit the like T-bone him or hit him head on,
Yeah.
which would have been like definitely fatal. So his truck hit me, it crushed my leg, and it was weird, you know, like time slowed down, and I was like, dude, this is where I die. Like, dang it, man. But I my bike, I couldn't like correct. I had already like pushed me to where I was like going towards like a bunch of trees and fences and stuff like that. So I just kind of like turned it a little to the left, and right before I hit the curb that I knew was going to throw me, I just put my hands like this, and it threw me a little over 100 feet. And I remember like 2 times opening my eyes. Like one time I was in midair, and one time I was like bounced off the ground, and then I landed, and then yeah, and then the pain hit, and it was pretty gnarly. I like was super lucky because there was like a telephone pole, and there was like 2 rows of trees, a sidewalk, and then there was like this like 8 foot wide strip of grass, and I landed in the grass. Didn't get any road rash. I like got a boxer break in my hand, had a few small lacerations, but it crushed my leg like really bad.
No concussion or anything?
No, and I didn't have a helmet on, so that was like another miracle in itself.
Wow, like I can't believe that. Like you didn't even pass out or anything.
No, it was wild. I felt all of it.
Wow. So how long till the ambulance came in? Like were you just sitting there in pain? Was anyone like helping you?
Yeah, you know, a bunch of people stopped. Like the first lady that came, her name was Laura, and I like still keep in touch with her on Facebook. She's the sweetest lady and like an angel. But she was with a at the playground, like right up the road with her kid, like her 2 children and one of her friends and their kids. And she's had dealt with accidents and stuff, and first responding stuff, had some experience with it. So she's like watched the kids and like ran down and was the first person like there at my side. Like holding my hand and like, you know, because I was just like screaming curse words and then apologizing, screaming more curse words about how much it hurt. But she was really sweet. She found my phone and called my dad. So a few other people came and were like around me, like trying to help and waiting till the ambulance showed up and whatnot. But my dad showed up too. I'm not sure if it was like before or after the ambulance showed up, but he was there like super fast. Um, yeah, and then the ambulance showed up very quickly. I don't really know like my time since the time was off, but it was pretty fast, you know. And then they put the tourniquet on, which if you've never had a tourniquet put on you, like it's like the most painful thing. The only thing that's more painful is taking it off at the hospital. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, there was a lot of people there that like stopped and got out of their cars and were helping and stuff, and it was real very good to see that people, you know, stop to make sure that other people are okay in a situation like that.
Yeah, it's great to hear. I'm happy about that. Um, how long were you in the hospital for?
I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and I think they did 4 surgeries that first, and I only had like 8 surgeries overall, including amputation, if I'm not mistaken, 7 or 8. But yeah, I was like in the hospital for 2 weeks. They sent me home, and then I started doing like hyperbaric chamber dives 5 days a week, and I did 90 dives. I was doing like wound care, just tons and tons of ortho appointments and everything else after
So,
that.
so basically, what you were swimming? What's a hyperbaric dive?
A hyperbaric chamber, it's they simulate like 3 times atmosphere like under the sea. So you're in a pressurized chamber with like 99% oxygen, and it's forcing oxygen into like all your cells to help you heal faster. And that's like one of the things they do for like um crush injuries, like just a lot. It helps with healing and stuff a lot. So
Yeah. Is it big? Is it like a little, how big is it? Is it one person fits in it?
yeah, it's the one they have like big rooms, I guess, but the one I was in, it's like imagine when you're depositing money at the bank in the little canisters, that sucks through. It's like a human sized one of those, just big enough for one
Uh,
person.
like the Matrix, like those pods. It's crazy. All right. So, but I guess a few weeks later, you were like, all right, that's it, amputate, or how long did it till you decided?
No, so they actually like salvaged my limb. I was like wheelchair to walker to crutches for quite a while. And then I had some issues with healing, like some of the wounds were opening up and stuff like that. And I could like see down to my bone, but we finally like closed it all up. Um, and it's like 7 months after the accident, or 7.5 months, something like that. I was like off crutches. I was like walking with no assistance. And I was like, thought I was completely out of the woods and on my way to recovery. And then one day my leg started hurting real bad. I was at a friend's house, actually where I live now. And I was like, dude, I think I have a blood clot again. Something's not right. So I go to the hospital, no blood clot. They send me home. The next day, the same thing happened. I was like, dude, there's something wrong. There's a blood clot, so this is not normal pain. So I went back to the hospital and no blood clot. They sent me home. And then the third day I woke up and had a fever and like just felt super sick. And I knew, I was like, I have an infection in my blood. Like I have something's wrong. So I went in, and sure enough, I had, was in like septic shock. And when they did the MRI of my left leg, it looked like termites had eaten my bone from the inside out. So they had to do another surgery where they took that rod out and cut out the infected tibia that was like rotted away, and they put a new like antibiotic coated rod in my bone. And there wasn't enough bone, so they like covered it up with bone cement. And then like my leg was open, like this huge section where I could see like 6 inches of that like rod. And they were just like packing it with a sponge and putting a wound vac over it and stuff. And they wanted me, my ortho surgeons really wanted me to save it, but I had already made up my mind when I was in the hospital for the infection that I was going to amputate. So I didn't schedule it, and we just kept the wound vac on, kept it clean, kept taking care of the wound so it wouldn't get any worse or infected. And then a month and a half after that surgery where they replaced the rod is when they performed the amputation.
So you were just walking on it while it was completely termite, like corroded, like gone. How do you walk on it if it's, you
Dude,
know,
I think honestly it was just because I had like the titanium rod in there, and the pain I did literally didn't feel the pain until it was just one day. It was like out of nowhere, and
because it
then
must
like
have been going on for a while, like rotting away, obviously. So like, wow.
yep.
All right, so you decided to do that. How long after you got it amputated? Like how long was the recovery process? What was it like, physical
uh,
therapy wise?
so I did a lot of PT after my accident, and after amputation, I actually didn't do any PT. My clinician was kind of just, like one of the best things you can do is just put your leg on and walk. So that's what I did. I got my leg amputated April 30th. And then I got my first prosthetic. I got into it really fast because I like followed every piece of advice they had. Keep the shrinker socks on it, keep it elevated. Um, was eating super healthy, clean. Like I was a smoker before my accident, so I quit smoking, quit nicotine, so to help with healing. And I yeah, so got into a prosthetic 2 months after amputation, and as soon as I got it, I was, walking on it with like a crutch or two. And then I went up to North Dakota 10 days after I got my prosthetic. I bought a bicycle, and I realized I was like, dude, I can ride a bike better than I can walk. So I just started cycling a ton, as much as I could.
Wow.
And then not too long after that, like, I mean, it was still obviously like painful, not comfortable, but started lifting weights again because my left leg, the thigh and stuff, my butt cheek had atrophied pretty gnarly. Is weird. Um, so yeah, I just was cycling, started lifting weights as soon as I could. Everything was to get back on the snow that season. And then sure enough, like, I think like right at the beginning of January, like 7, 8 months after amputation, I was back on the mountain snowboarding, which was
So you can run everything normal? Like, is everything
Uh, I
normal?
didn't run quite yet until I got my first blade from a really cool company called Levitate. They do like direct to consumer running blades to make it like more affordable for amputees. But they sent me a blade to try out and stuff like that. Once I got that, I was like back to running. I also started training jujitsu like 6 months after amputation. So
Wow. I saw like one of the best jujitsu artists is one leg, I think, right? Or maybe
there's
a
quite a few
wrestler.
really.
Might be a wrestler.
Yeah, that was a wrestler, Anthony Robles
Yeah.
for ASU. That dude was bad to the bone.
Yeah, yeah. I watched highlights of him recently. Yeah, yeah. Crazy. All right. So how long, when did you get the running blade you called it, right? Blade?
Yep, the running blade. Oh, shoot, I'd have to go back. I'm wanting to say that was maybe a year after I got into my first prosthetic. I was like, they sent me one to try out and got it, and it was pretty sick, man. Like as soon as you put it on, like, wow, I can run again. Like it was a little weird figuring out how to run on a running blade, but
Yeah.
it came pretty fast, so it was sick.
Like day one, you were able to go.
Yeah, day one, I mean, it was like definitely not the most beautiful stride since I hadn't ran in so long, but I could definitely do a nice, steady jog.
That's cool, dude. So that must have been a great feeling.
Oh yeah, it was very like, yeah. When I got my first blade, it was sick. When you get the feeling of like being able to really run again, it's sick because they make other feet that they're like everyday feet that you can run and jog in, but you can't really experience like the blade. It's a different feeling for sure.
Yeah. All right. So now you're running a year later, basically, jogging at least. Are you experiencing any like um not symptoms, but like post-surgery symptoms, like anything that
Not really. I had like phantom pain for the first little bit after my amputation, and I was on a bunch of like opiates and stuff, which I'm not a fan of anyways. And then I started taking like THC edibles, and that was like the only thing that helped. So yeah, as soon as I tried the THC edible and it helped with the phantom pain, I haven't taken like opioids since, which has been pretty sick doing it the all natty way.
yeah, totally. CBD, THC.
Oh yeah, the way Bob Marley intended.
I think that's what he wanted. Yeah. Awesome. So, did the phantom pains still happen, but you have to constantly like be having edible?
No,
Okay.
no, they helped me get through like the worst part of them, but then like
Oh,
it
so
was
it
like
goes away.
really
Okay.
for some people. Some people have them for life. I'm like just very, very like my healing process, recovery time, and phantom pain, and like the issues I deal with like having a stump or residual limb, whatever you want to call it, have been like I've been so blessed. Like, and the more and more amputees I meet, that like makes me realize like how much more I have to be thankful for instead of dealing with a lot of like issues.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Fortunate. All right. So what are you doing now? I know you said you started your snowboarding and you're back on the snow. So like, what do you do? Are you a professional snowboarder or?
No, I got like a few sponsors, and stuff like right now, but this will be my third season doing bank slalom races, and which is like just a snowboard race. Um,
Like
but
downhill? Like, is it like,
it's like this like berm track. It's like this snaky track with like berm turns. It's super fun. But doing that, this I got it. Did some riding with some Paralympic riders. Got evaluated. So the goal is training this season. First time like formal training with adaptive action sports at Copper Mountain in Colorado, and riding with the like all my Paralympic riders that ride for the U.S. para team that are just like huge influences, role models for me and stuff that have been like super cool, helping me out, like learning the ropes because there's a lot of stuff you have to do to make it happen. But training this season, doing like a ski snowboard race camp in the beginning of December, and then the goal is next season to get my classification, which you have to go to like Landgraf in the Netherlands, or I think there's one in Canada. But next season I'll be getting on the World Cup circuit, doing my Paralympic qualifying races, and then 2026 be going to the Paralympics.
yeah.
So That's what's been going on snowboarding. Still, I need to get back on the mats. I've been taking it easy because I was training for the Romp Climb, which is a nonprofit that provides prosthetics for people in the U.S., Guatemala, and Ecuador um, that can't afford them. So was raised quite a bit of money for them and really fell in love with their mission, what they're doing. But I went down the 28th of September, so here a few weeks ago. I went to the clinic, got to see some of the people actually getting like legs and feet that we raised money for. That was super special and like one of the coolest feelings in the world.
Mm.
And then everyone on the team, we climbed a 19,000 foot volcano down in Ecuador called Cayambe. And that was like a very life changing experience. And now I have one more really expensive hobby, which is mountaineering. So I plan on going back to Ecuador next year with Romp on their 2024 climb team. We're going to be doing Chimborazo, which is 20,500 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to already putting feelers out and seeing what I need to do to, because I want to start planning a trip for Denali and Kilimanjaro, and then hopefully in a few years Everest. But I would like to do all 7 of the summits and show people what you're capable of with access to good prosthetic care and why it's important that it's equitable for everyone to have access to good prosthetics, especially the younger generations and stuff. Seeing people do badass stuff on a prosthetic is going to really hopefully help them not set limitations on themselves for the future.
It sounds like you're even more busy now than before the amputation. Like you're doing more.
Way more.
Yeah.
Way more busy.
Yeah. So it's like you've taken it up a notch. You haven't slowed down. You've actually sped up.
Yep. Through the accident and adversity and stuff, it's really helped me find like my ambition and passion and like my purpose in life to like, help motivate people and help them want to push themselves and help them realize too, it doesn't take losing a leg to overcome addiction and stuff like that. It just puts finding what you love and your passion and pouring your heart and soul into it. So it's definitely given me purpose in life and has been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Very cool. Very cool, dude. Oh, I had a question about the snowboarding. When you're racing, you're not racing next to someone, right? Like it's your time, the best time.
So bank slalom racing is time, but when I go to the Paralympics, and I haven't actually been on a border cross track yet, that's more of like a downhill, like motocross track is what it looks like.
That's
And that,
that
and
sounds crazy.
it's sick, dude. And that's with 3 other people, but I think that's what I'm really going to excel at once I finally get on the course. But so yeah, we'll be doing the border cross is the timed ones, and you get like 2 runs, and then the bank bank slalom is the timed one. You get 2 runs. And border cross you're racing against other people, which is the one I'm like most stoked for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. It's like everyone just going. Is it like a horse, like horse racing? Like 7 people go at once?
4 people go at once.
4 people?
Yeah.
Even 4 is a lot. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, cool. So you have your plans. You're basically getting ready for 2026 for the next couple of years.
Yep. Getting ready for 2026. Yeah, doing that. And then
is your shirt like any company that you're affiliated with?
Yeah, this is a Relentless Pursuit. And this is like their shirt they came out with last year and just says you matter, which I like, it's like by far my favorite shirt, my favorite message, just kind of wearing it around. People see it, and they're like, I do matter. I'm like, yes, you do. So it's cool. And that was actually my first sponsor, the first person that like sent me like t-shirts and a beanie and stickers and stuff. And he's out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is where I was born. So we had a lot of mutual friends that had never met until I went down to visit him like a year and a half, 2 years ago. But his name's Joe Adams and has been like just a huge support and one of the first people that reached out to me after like my first post after amputation and was just kind of real happy to see me be positive. He's gone through some really bad accidents and health journey of his own, so we relate a lot on that. And yeah, he's doing some pretty cool stuff. So very stoked to rep his gear.
Totally, very cool. All right, I mean, we're coming towards the end here. Do you have any words of wisdom for, someone who's contemplating whether to amputate or not?
My words of wisdom to people wondering if they should amputate or not is like definitely weigh out the options, if you don't have to, definitely don't. But if it's like the best option for you, it's not the end of the world. I mean, like it's going to come with discomfort and pain. Um, but I don't know if you can use it as I use it as a driving force to really motivate me. I saw like a TED Talks of this dude named Nick Lavery and did like 4 deployments as a Green Beret warrant officer as an above the knee amputee, and I was like, that's like the most badass dude ever. And I was like, I want to be a badass dude on one leg. So that's what I strive to and strive to people, like uh, what you're capable if you set your mind to it, regardless of amputation or not. Your brain is the strongest organ in your body, and with ambition, strong willpower, you can really accomplish way more than you think you can. Like it just takes turning that dial up and having that dedication.
Beautiful, beautiful. What are some social medias people could check you out on, follow your journey?
My Instagram is probably like the best one. That's where I post everything. Like Facebook's more for like family and friends and stuff. But Instagram is Steve_O_Crawford.
Steve O. Crawford, got you.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. So I guess that's it. We'll take it from there. Is there anything else you didn't say that you wanted to say?
No, I mean, that sums it up, man. I've been doing more and more podcasts, so I'm like not saying as much, or like I've gotten way better at that, I hope. So
Hard. I do it too. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Steve. If see, I just did it. Thank you, everyone else, for watching. We will be here next week with a new interview. Steve and Crawford, thanks again.